Congratulations to all the fellow Bitcoin plebs and hodlers. That's right, the psychological 100K Bitcoin fiat exchange level has been reached, has been broken, and it looks like we're going to try to turn it into support. Welcome back, everyone. That's right. Of course, even though it's not a total hopium channel, you know that I can't resist doing a hopium clip, right? We just broke 100K. I was actually in a space last night with fellow Bitcoiners. We weren't even expecting that we were all of a sudden going to break 100K, and lo and behold, the magic green candles appeared, and it happened. It happened while we were sitting in the X space, all of us together, a bunch of Bitcoiners that have been talking together for quite a few years, and it was just absolutely an amazing experience. But you know what? At the same time, right? It also brings about a lot of questions, right? Like we know that Yellow, the puppet, right? His Don't Stop Believing space. Well, his last one is going to be December 5th. Unfortunately, when this episode comes out, his space will have already aired. The last Don't Stop Believing space will have aired. But also at the same time, people are also wondering, where do we go from here? And we're going to take obviously I'm going to give my take on that, where I think we go from here. But before we do that, I want to give an honorable mention to a salty no coiner, which ironically works for Real Vision. And yeah, I want to give him a little podium here. So here is a post from Lawrence McDonald. And yeah, that's right. He works for Real Vision, among other mainstream media outlets. Anyways, so let's take a look at this tweet, guys. Never ever forget, right? So this is my favorite thing, because people like him who essentially continuously come up with excuses why they don't hold Bitcoin, why they don't have any Bitcoin, and why everything else they're trying to sell you is obviously so much better than Bitcoin. So I like to, when I see this kind of stuff, I can't help but think they're so bitter. He's so bitter, so salty, and so coping and seething that this is all he can come up with. Never ever forget, long-term track records on an asset class that implodes every few years are total BS. Anyone stating them needs to be called out as a pumper looking for a greater fool. Now, keep in mind, this gentleman works for Real Vision, who has been responsible for telling people to buy Luna. Now, if you don't remember what Luna was, right? Luna was one of those yielding schemes where people lost all of their Bitcoin. Okay. Luna completely imploded, and he works for the company, one of the companies that was shilling it to people. Essentially, you may all remember Rug Pal's famous relatively risk-free, famous last words. And now here he is, of course, crying about Bitcoin. He's using hyperbolic language in order to incite fear. I mean, he's not wrong about the drawdowns in Bitcoin. Indeed, Bitcoin is a quote-unquote volatile asset, but it's volatile to the upside. It's kind of interesting that he painted this chart without painting essentially the new all-time highs in purchasing power that Bitcoin commands. So indeed, Bitcoin does have these drawdowns, and they draw down to support levels where you end up seeing the support build before the momentum comes back and moves to new all-time highs. And as of right now, that's been in a very predictable 4-year pattern, thanks to, I'm sure in large part, the halving events that take place every 4 years, where the block reward gets cut in half. So I understand his salt. I understand how disappointed he is about not being wrong, and why he had to find this cherry-picked chart. But yeah, you're just seething and coping, bud. Moving on. Financial Times. Wow, look at this, guys. We are getting to a certain extent, you may say that that we're winning or that we've won. But take a look. Financial Times did put out an article today. This is actually real. Okay, this is not fake. And they said, we're sorry if at any moment in the past 14 years you chose, based on our coverage, not to buy a thing whose number has gone up. It's nice when your number goes up. And we're sorry if you misunderstood our crypto cynicism to be a declaration of support for TradFi, because we hate that too. So Financial Times, we appreciate the apology, but it's not crypto, it's Bitcoin. That's the truth. So we do appreciate the apology. Lastly, where do we go from here, right? Where do we go? I got to be honest, when we broke 100K last night, I didn't think, I really thought that we would just kind of like maybe pull back right away, but instead we went up. I believe we went to like 104,000 and change. Anyways, look, the journey is only going to get more interesting, based on what I believe and what I've experienced in the past with Bitcoin cycles. In my eyes, we're just at the beginning of this bull run. Not saying that we won't have any drawdowns. I mean, of course, we are going to have drawdowns, but I do expect that we're going to have a higher Bitcoin exchange rate going forward, and probably the top, right? For this particular cycle, the top may come in, around December 2025. Who knows? Maybe even January 2026. In all fairness, this cycle for me has been a little bit different because, as I stated in the past, we broke the previous all-time high prior to the Bitcoin miner reward halving event. So I do think that it is a little different this time. In previous cycles, we've always talked about how the financial institutions are coming and all this stuff. They're all going to be here. They're going to be big players. The reality is that they weren't really there, but this time they are here. And this time they are leveraging their purchasing power. So I hate to say the whole "this time it's different" thing, but I am starting to warm up to it and lean into it. Now, is that a counter indicator? It very well could be. One of the positive things about not taking yourself too seriously is that you don't get married to these opinions. And I'm fortunately not married to my opinions, because I realize that as right as I could be is as infinitely wrong as I can be. But I could say this. This is absolutely amazing. Again, congrats to all the Bitcoin hodlers who have stuck through. For many hodlers like myself, exactly what it's like. Lots of people, secretly just making fun of you, thinking like, yeah, whatever, it's just going to zero. They don't really know what they're buying. Yeah, well, you know what, guys, cry harder. That's all I got to say. Cry fucking harder. But yeah, that does it for this clip. That's all I wanted to talk about. Do we actually know? You know what? Before I go, do we see 200K this cycle? Meh, who knows? Maybe we see 200K this cycle. Maybe we see 250K this cycle. Who knows? All I know is this, right? Regardless of what we see, I'm going to continue stacking. I'm going to continue building my conviction. And I'm going to continue to tell people to stay away from fucking shitcoins and just buy Bitcoin. Catch you on the next one. Peace.